Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to this Thursday, September 22nd version of our Keystroke dealer training webinar. And we are going to be talking about the new feature in Keystroke for card on file or stored card values, stored payments. So thank you, everyone, for being here today on this. Uh-oh, is it the 21st or 22nd? It's like the last day of summer. It's supposed to snow here on Monday, so um, it'll be exciting there. So we are talking about Card on File, which is a new feature in Keystroke version 8, build 51. Also is a feature of Keystroke Advanced POS. So you need that to utilize the feature, and it also does require a Cayan merchant account, and it utilizes their uh, feature called the Cayan Vault. So a card is actually entered manually, stored on Cayan server. So you enter it through Cayan's manual entry portal. It's stored in Cayan. A token gets returned to Keystroke and stored with the customer. So when you go to process it, Keystroke sends that token, and the card gets processed on Cayan's server, and the approved transaction gets sent back to Keystroke. Doesn't utilize the physical Genius device itself, doesn't utilize KeyPay. It's all just within Keystroke. It's fast, it's simple, it's easy. It's great. One restriction I always like pulling out is there is one card per customer. So you can enter the card, you can remove the card, you can enter a different card, but you can't have two cards at one time. So with that, I'm going to move into Keystroke to show you what this looks like. And now we should be seeing Keystroke. And I need to log on. So just to give you a feel for how all this works right now, move this so I can see myself. Right now, I'm just going to do a transaction with the Genius, and I've got the Genius set up. I do the payment selected by customer. If you see on, it's hard to read the actual words on the Genius here, but it's got the amount on there. I'm going to do selected by customer, and now it's $2.17. I'm just going to hold my phone up here and hopefully pay for this with American Express. There, I did it. It's waiting, and it's approved. So I will sign and accept. So that's just having the Genius set up. Now, I'm going to go ahead and save that. I'm going to show you what it looks like with the card on file. I'm going to enter customer 4, and if you see now down in the center here, there is a card on file. This customer has a card on file information. I can click this if I want to, and it shows me it's a MasterCard. I can replace it. I can delete it. I'm just going to close this right now. I'm going to say OK, and I'll sell a long sleeve cotton shirt. I don't know if I can sell it for that much. We'll make it cheaper. And I'm going to select my card on file payment type. I select that card on file payment type, $10.83. I like that. You can skip tendered if you don't want this screen to pop up. I select OK, and it comes back approved. That did go out across the internet, approve the transaction, and then Cayan server sent back to us the approval code and information. It's a MasterCard, and I'm just going to hit escape here so you see. So it's not a card on file payment type. It uses the Cayan payment mappings to replace that with MasterCard, American Express, Discover, whatever the actual card is. And I can save this. Okay, so how did I make all this magic happen? I'm going to go to the configuration manager of Keystroke, and it all starts under hardware and pin pad and the Genius setup. I'm selecting Cayan Genius and setup. So this is where the card on file feature gets the merchant information. With Cayan, it's the business name, business key, and site ID. It gets it out of this information, and this is stored in a discrete file, mwgenius.dat, in your data directory that's got this information and the payment mappings. Now, even if you're not using the Genius, you can come set this up, turn it off, and that file will exist. And that's how the card on file knows how to process the transaction, and then also how to map back the results. So when Cayan returns to us that, hey, that was a Discover card, we know we send that to payment type Discover that's number 15. So it utilizes this even though it's not using the actual Genius hardware. This is where it's getting its information on how to process. It's basically using these three pieces of information at the top and the payment mapping. So once I get this set up, I'm just going to cancel out of here. I am going over to tables and sales payment types, and I need to have a card on file payment type. We are adding this so that new databases that get initialized will have card on file here. The only thing is people with current data sets, we can't go in and change their payment types because we don't want to do that. So you as a reseller have to go in and add it, and it's very easy to add. You would just hit insert to add a new one. I'm going to hit F3 to edit this one. Give it a name that's descriptive, like card on file. I have card on file in the terms. The terms don't matter. That's what gets put on the invoice or the receipt. And remember, this payment type is always going to be replaced by Visa, MasterCard, Discover, the appropriate payment type in the response. The most important thing is here under payment type, and it gets a little confusing because we're dealing with a sales payment type called card on file, and then you need to select the radio button payment type and be sure to select card on file. That's how it knows to go out and authorize it. Auth method doesn't matter, pretty much, available on sales you want turned on. And then this skip tendered field, if I turn that on, it would cause that little box not to pop up. I think it's good to have it because typically you're using card on file not in a face-to-face situation. You're in a back office. Have that pop up. Oh yeah, it's your Discover card ending in 1234. Yeah, that's right. And then you hit process. So I'm just going to click OK to save that. And really, that is what you need to do to set it up. You put the merchant account information in the Genius setup, and then you add that card on file. I do want to show you one other parameter is in the settings and parameter. There is a disable card on file if people aren't going to use it. Maybe they're not processing with Cayan. You can come in here and just say, hey, turn it off so that they never see anything. So now I am going to go back to the sales manager, and I'm going to go put in customer number 8, Red Hot Productions. They don't have a card on file, so I can just click add card right here to add one. Ask me if I want to add a new card to Cayan Vault. I say yes, and up pops the information. So I'm going to I'll take my Visa card here, and I'm just going to type in the number 7390, and my expiration is 12/18. I submit. Now, what really happened there was, you see, we pop up the manual card entry page for Cayan. So Keystroke is completely out of scope. Your We're never seeing the PAN, primary account number, or the SAD, the secure authentication data. That's the swipe on the back of the card. So Keystroke is never touching that. Your computer, it's all going through the internet there on your computer. So it's all secured by Cayan. Now, transactions done with card on file are manually entered transactions. It's just every single one is, no matter how you enter the card. So we're doing it this way because that keeps it very simple. So now you see it says card on file. So I can hit OK. I can put an item on there. I select card on file. Does it for $1.08. Comes back approved. And if you see there, it's a Visa payment, not card on file, and save. Now, suppose I put on Ben & Jerry's here, and they says add card. They don't have a card. I can hit OK here. I can put a line item on. Oh, something happened there. Usually card on file doesn't show up if they don't have a card saved on file. Not sure what happened there. But you see, I can come in here and I can select the add card at the complete sale screen. Clicking yes here. Oh, you know what? And I didn't. Oh, there it does. It does show up in the view there. The payment entry box. It's canceled by clerk. So I'm just going to do OK there. But you can also, from the enter customer screen, I can select our add card. Or if I hit F3 here, from the customer screen, just the inventory data, or I'm sorry, the customer database screen, I can add the card. So that means I can also add those cards. Here, let's go to when I'm in accounts receivable, and I put in customer number 9, I can add a card here. So wherever it's available, wherever you're attached to the customer record, you can click that add card, add it to the Cayan Vault, and it will pop up. Hopefully you'll see that. It'll pop up the payment entry screen that takes it straight to Cayan. Now, I'm going to go back to the sales manager here. Do one more again. It's just I can put in customer 4. He's got a card on file. If I click this, it shows me what he's got. Can click OK. Put in an item. Select card on file. And boom, it comes back approved. I'm going to switch now to my Cayan partner or my portal. And if you haven't taken a look at it's a great looking website. It's very neat and organized. I've done $48.48 worth of sales today. I kind of breaks it up by card type. I get a little graph on how my sales have been over the past week. I can go here to history. And now this may be a little small for you to see, so I'll kind of read it too. But this shows me transaction by transaction what we did. And you see I have a couple of MasterCards and a Visa here that were all manual transactions. Those are card on file, manually entered. I have a couple of American Expresses that were proximity. That's using the cell phone and Apple Pay. Discover, here's a swiped one that I have a test Discover card here with no EMV chip. And then I have a Visa. Which one is my Visa? Here's my Visa test card that has a chip, so it was an EMV contact. Shows you exactly how it was approved. You see there's these funny approval codes. That's all because we're doing test transactions. In the real world, those are all going to be different numbers. So I've got my invoice number and what my reference is. I can click any one of these individually, and it gives me detail. I can void it. It's very handy here that this test keystroke POS, that's our merchant account. And transaction ID, it's 38 register, invoice 38 register 1, what the amount was for. So there's lots of good information here in the Cayan portal. Another thing we have is, and I'll just give you a quick look at this guy. This is a new document. It's going to be part of Build 52 that's configuring Keystroke with card on file, kind of the quick and dirty 1, 2, 3 on here is how you set up the Cayan card on file and use the vault. It's got nice screenshots, all kinds of good information. And Josh here worked hard on getting this done. So we've got this added information. I'm going to go back to Keystroke here again. And then another important thing I always want to say, whether you're working with any payment processor, card on file, or whatever, you want to get it set up, you want to enter transactions, you want to go to the portal and look at those approved transactions, and then you want to check the next day to make sure your batch balances with everything. And it's a good practice, and it's unfortunate a lot of merchants are never reconciling what they processed with what hits the bank, because it's a good practice. But it's good to remind your merchants to, hey, check this out. You want to be sure that the money that you're collecting is hitting the bank. So whether you're using a credit card, a gift card, or card on file, you want to be sure it's going through the whole cycle of everything. So again, here is Mike Anderson. He has a card on file. I'm just hitting OK. I'm selecting a pencil sharpener. I select card on file, hit OK, and boom, it comes back approved. If any of you have purchased anything recently, we've been asking, hey, you want us to put card on file? We've been using it here. It's great. We love it. It's simple. Takes us, we're not writing down credit card numbers and then scratching them out or shredding them. It's stored in there. It's ready to go. There also is an additional service from Cayan called the Card Update service. And if you subscribe to that with Cayan, then when somebody's expiration date changes or they get issued a new credit card, that stored value will be updated on Cayan's server. The token that Keystroke is storing remains the same. They're just updating the card information on their server. And so you can seamlessly continue to process transactions even when that information changes. So could be handy. I think a lot of resellers out there could use this. A lot of merchants could use it. And we have really enjoyed using it here. With that, I am going to unmute everyone and see if anybody has any questions, comments.
Hey, this is Mike. You do or do not need a Genius terminal for this?
You do not need a Genius terminal for this. It doesn't use the terminal at all. You just have to go set it up. So even if the terminal's not there, you can go set it up. That information gets saved in that mwgenius.dat file, and then you can turn it off and say you don't have a terminal. So you don't have to have, like, we don't use the Genius to process transactions here just because we don't have physical credit cards. So just set it up, put the information in there, and then you're good to go.
And then one comment I might make, I think it's a real money grab that they consider this a manually entered transaction when they're the ones that have the card information and no one else does.
Yeah, they can't store, you get the discount for the swipe. They call that secure authentication data, and you cannot store the whole swipe. Is what they how the payment card rules go. So because we don't have the swipe, that's why it's a manually entered transaction. And for guys like us, it's not a big deal because everything we do is manually entered. But yeah, for a busy retail store, if it's some kind of supplies or whatever, that if they could, it could change a lot if they were able to actually read the EMV chips off of individual cards. Any other questions?
Hey, Dave,
yes.
Is this strictly a direct account with Cayan, or can they use the gateway service if they want to use a different processor still?
It's strictly a direct account with Cayan.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments? All right. Well, thank you, everyone. This is being recorded, so you can find it on our YouTube channel in the next 24 hours or so if you want to see it, or if you have customers that want a little more in-depth. And if you want a copy of the document or any other information, feel free to give us a call here at SBS. Thanks, everyone, for attending, and have a great fall that starts today.